We are not rich by what we possess, but by what we can do without. He who is cruel to animals becomes hard also in his dealings with men. We can judge the heart of a man by his treatment of animals. Look closely. The beautiful may be small. I had to deny knowledge in order to make room for faith. Two things fill the mind with ever-increasing wonder and awe. The more often and the more intensely the mind of thought is drawn to them. The starry heavens above me and the moral law within me. Dare to think. One who makes himself a worm cannot complain afterwards if people step on him. All our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. There is nothing higher than reason. For peace to reign on earth, humans must evolve into new beings who have learned to see the whole first. Rules for happiness: something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. Out of the crooked timber of humanity, no straight thing was ever made. Seek not the favor of the multitude, it is seldom got by honest and lawful means. But seek the testimony of few, and number, not voices, but weigh them. The busier we are, the more acutely we feel that we live, the more conscious we are of life. Genius is the ability to independently arrive at and understand concepts that would normally have to be taught by another person. The death of a dogma is the birth of morality. But only he who, himself enlightened, is not afraid of shadows. Space and time are the frameworks within which the mind is constrained to construct its experience of reality. Thoughts without content are empty, intuitions without concepts are blind. Have patience a while, slanders are not long-lived. Truth is the child of time, ere long she shall appear to vindicate thee. Dare to know. Have the courage to use your own intelligence. We are enriched not by what we possess, but by what we can do without. The reading of all good books is like a conversation with the finest minds of past centuries. Man must be disciplined, for he is by nature raw and wild. Treat people as an end, and never as a means to an end. If the truth shall kill them, let them die. How then is perfection to be sought? Wherein lies our hope? In education, and in nothing else. New prejudices will serve, as well as old ones, to harness the great unthinking masses. Act only according to that maxim whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. There is something splendid about innocence, but what is bad about it, in turn, is that it cannot protect itself very well and is easily seduced. We are not rich by what we possess, but by what we can do without. He who is cruel to animals becomes hard also in his dealings with men. We can judge the heart of a man by his treatment of animals. In all judgments by which we describe anything as beautiful, we allow no one to be of another opinion. Have the courage to use your own reason. That is the motto of enlightenment. Marriage is the union of two people of different sexes, with a view to the mutual possession of each other's sexual attributes for the duration of their lives. Nothing is divine, but what is agreeable to reason. Only the descent into the hell of self-knowledge can pave the way to godliness. An action, to have moral worth, must be done from duty. But although all our knowledge begins with experience, it does not follow that it arises from experience. Experience without theory is blind, but theory without experience is mere intellectual play. Morality is not properly the doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but how we may make ourselves worthy of happiness. Nature is beautiful because it looks like art, and art can only be called beautiful if we are conscious of it as art, while yet it looks like nature. All false art, all vain wisdom, lasts its time but finally destroys itself, and its highest culture is also the epoch of its decay. Without man and his potential for moral progress, the whole of reality would be a mere wilderness, a thing in vain, and have no final purpose. To be is to do. Act only according to that maxim, by which you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. All human cognition begins with intuitions, proceeds from thence to conceptions, and ends with ideas. Simply to acquiesce in skepticism can never suffice to overcome the restlessness of reason. Beauty presents an indeterminate concept of understanding, the sublime and indeterminate concept of reason. Dignity is a value that creates irreplaceability. It is beyond doubt that all our knowledge begins with experience. Human beings are never to be treated as a means but always as ends. By a lie, a man throws away and, as it was annihilated, his dignity as a man. In every department of physical science, there is only so much science, properly so called, as there is mathematics. From the crooked, the timber of humanity, a straight board cannot be hewn. What might be said of things, in themselves, separated from all relationship to our senses, remains for us absolutely unknown. A categorical imperative would be one which represented an action as objectively necessary in itself, without reference to any other purpose. Better the whole people perish than that injustice be done. Innocence is a splendid thing, only it has the misfortune not to keep very well, and to be easily misled. Settle, for sure and universally, what conduct will promote the happiness of a rational being. Lithuanian nation must be saved, as it is the key to all the riddles, not only philology, but also in history, to solve the puzzle. Laughter is an effect resulting from the sudden transformation of a heightened expectation into nothing.